Welcome back to Athletic Everyday Day number 185. A little bit of a tired workout today. I was doing some laboring work with my dad earlier today. But I've done this in the past. Like I've done many workouts in the past where I've done like a full day of work, like manual laboring work, and then done a workout afterwards, and I've handled it in the past. And you always hear stories of bodybuilders doing it, in the 80s and the 90s or even the 70s or whenever it was. They all worked like full-time jobs, and they probably were working like manual labor jobs as well, or they were working like 8-10 hour shifts, and then you hear them going to like absolutely kill it in the gym. So kind of makes me feel like I'm a little bit of a wuss complaining about this, because the human body is very capable of adapting to all kinds of stresses. That's literally what the human body is. It's a adaptation to stress machine. That's what it does. As long as the stress isn't to excess, like it's not excessively high, and you can recover from it, then yeah, you will be able to adapt as long as you're eating enough calories and you're sleeping enough. And the stimulus isn't like to the point where it's causing you injury, then yeah, why the hell can't you adapt to it? So, this workout probably didn't have the energy I wanted it to, but I'm glad I got it in. Still did every rep I wanted to do. I decided that I would do an extra set of muscle ups today. Usually I do 3 sets of 5, but I decided, screw it, just see if I can get a 4th set in, try and push myself a little bit. So I ended up doing 20 total muscle ups today. For some reason on this set, I decided that I would do like wide grip for a couple reps, which didn't go too well. And I really felt like after this though, I did clean up my muscle up form a lot. So what I noticed when I watch back my old muscle up videos is my hollow body position when I'm doing that pulling phase. I'm sort of very weak in the abs. I'm sort of letting my torso extend a little bit in the sort of thoracic region. But in this last set here, or maybe it's the one after this one as well, I'm really focusing on keeping that banana shape with my body as much as I possibly can. It's very difficult to maintain that sort of like curved and tightness all throughout that anterior chain, like pointing the toes, flexing the quads, slightly flexing the hips, and then also having that posterior pelvic tilt, all the characteristics of that hollow body position. It does make the muscle up harder, but it makes it look so much more aesthetically pleasing when you're not having any flexion at all, when you're not having any sort of extension at all, and you're not kipping at all to get you into that position where you can get over the bar. So yeah, the extra set of muscle ups was good, and it did sort of prove to me that I am capable of doing a lot more than I thought I could. Probably could have even done another set of 5 if I wanted to. But when you work out every day, it's a very fine balance. It's an extremely fine balance with how much you're actually letting yourself push yourself, because you always then have to go and do the workout the next day. Now, that being said, with how long I've been doing this for, I know I can recover from the workouts, and I know that there's a certain level that I can recover from, and there's a certain level that I can't recover from. But you can't go hell for leather in one workout, because you're going to have to work out the next day. You can't completely fry your central nervous system and then go and work out, or expect to work out hard the next day. So those are some thoughts just sort of musing around balancing the training that I do every day and then being able to work out every day. I'd love to know in the comments though, how do you guys balance like working shifts? Like if you guys work, or like how do you balance like the energy from your job with doing workouts? If you work out with decently high frequency, sort of like 4 to 7 times a week, how do you balance that? Do you find that you have less energy after you finish a shift at work and then have to come in and do a workout? Do you always sort of dread it a little bit? How do you personally get through it? How do you motivate yourself to go and do a workout? Moving on, I decided to set up a superset between front lever and handstands. Today I was able to get a 15-second hold on the straddle front lever, which I'm pretty pleased with. That's probably equal to my best front lever hold. For me, progressive front lever isn't just increasing the time in the holds or the number of reps of front lever raises that I can do. It's also the ability to hold with high quality form. So how well am I able to actually hold that hollow body position? Well, it's kind of like a more extended hollow body position when you do a front lever. How well am I actually able to retain and hold that position? How strong are my lats feeling, and how strong is my core feeling while I'm doing that front lever hold? And that's a good indicator of progress for me, which is why it's nice to have these recordings, because you can look at your form on a front lever and be like, yes, that's looking a lot better today, or it wasn't looking as good as it was last week, and so on. So that's a good way to track your progress, especially with advanced calisthenics moves like handstand and front lever. It's actually looking at the form, and does the form look more optimal, I guess you could say. Moving on, I decided that I was going to do a bit of a change up for the upper body placement on the weighted push-ups. So usually I do this with my sort of walking Zimmer frame thing. I still don't know what it's called. But today I decided that I would do it with rings. Although on this unweighted set, I did it with a turnout. I wasn't able to do that with the weight, or it would have been incredibly inconvenient because the weight was hanging in between my arms. But little distinction that I noticed between doing rings and having like a stationary hand placement is the instability means that you have to be a lot more slow on the eccentric, and you also have to be a lot more careful with, especially with how unstable this bar is that the rings are attached to. You have to be a lot more careful with how hard you actually push, because those rings are going to wobble no matter what. But what is really nice about this, a good distinction between the rings and the stationary hand placement, is that you have a lot more range of motion in terms of abduction away from the body. So you're able to actually open the hands a lot more because the rings can move, and I guess you could say because they're unstable, it allows you to get a lot more stretch on the pecs in the bottom position and also across the anterior deltoid. So the range of motion in terms of that abduction, hands and arms away from the body, elbows sort of coming out to the side a little bit more. It's quite nice because the rings are a lot more flexible with where you can put your hands, and also you can then have that adduction where you pull the arms closer towards the front of the body. You can almost cross the arms over. I could have if the weight wasn't in the way here actually. You can almost cross the arms over to get that adduction where you pull the arms across the body, because that is also one of the functions of the pectoralis muscle. I worked up to a top set of, I think it was 30 only on those ring weighted push-ups. And I did a set of 5 or 6. 5 on the first set, 6 on the second set. Then I moved into some weighted pull-ups, pronated grip, sort of regular shoulder width grip. I think this was, the first set was a set of 20, then I moved into a set of 30 for, I think it's 5 reps. And I did 2 sets of 5. It was a real struggle to get 5 in on the last set. Definitely wasn't feeling as strong as I have been in the past. I probably even managed to get like 6 reps with 30 kilos in the past. But over the coming weeks, I am going to continue to work on my pulling strength, because it's a big predicting factor for success in a lot of calisthenics movements like front lever and muscle ups. Then lastly, I did an AMRAP with chin ups with 20 kilos weighted, just to get a little bit of just to get a little bit of variation for the pulling variation I did. Get a little bit supinated chinning, or whatever you want to call it. I think I got 8 reps here. In the past, I've done 9, but again, it's not there. It wasn't there today. And then the last thing I did was a little bit of neck training, because I did miss training my neck on Tuesday. So that is more or less it for the entirety of the workout today, guys. Progress is coming along nicely. Really enjoying doing these training sessions, and I hope you're enjoying watching them too. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.